Hi friends, how's everybody doing today? I am doing really good. Really good. So after taking a week to myself to kind of get myself together and just kind of muddle through these emotions that were kind of still lingering around, I have moved into this really cool energetic space. I feel very powerful right now. I feel very in control of my vibration right now. And for the first time in my life, I sit back and I'm like, okay, I get it. Like, I really get how things are working and my role in it and how to manifest in these energies. And it's just the coolest thing. So I wanted to make a video and share some of these things that I've been learning. Now, the thing is, so you guys can kind of get a little bit of what I've been kind of like just muddling my way through and trying to put these puzzle pieces together. So there's a lot of stuff I've been getting. And one of the things that I've been getting about 5 days ago is that in this time, like right now, we are downloading way more information than we can assimilate through the thinking process, the thought process. So a lot of the information that we are being, downloaded right now is really going to kind of unfold and unravel itself continuously as we go forward. I don't even know if that makes sense. It's like this block of thought that we are being given, this block of consciousness that we're all being given. It's like an energetic little package, right? And as you take into your own energetic field this package of energy, it is going to begin to kind of unravel itself, kind of like layers of an onion, little by little. Because this first outer shell of information is going to move you and allow you to grow enough so that when the next layer starts to come undone, you can assimilate. So it's like one layer of the onion prepares you for the next layer and so on and so forth, but they all come in this tight little package. So on the end of May, we had a pretty big ascension wave, right? I think it came in around the 21st and it left around the 23rd. We had a pretty big wave of energy come in. And then I felt it start to pick up around the 5th of June, peaking around the 6th of June. And I want to say it started to mellow out again around the 8th. So, but during this time, I was clearing out a lot of stuff because of the energy work that I had been doing. So this also brought me to a really cool understanding with these ascension energies. Everybody's talking about the ascension energies and how to clear and how to heal. And while those are all beautiful, and we really have only begun to really unravel this density within us since January. We've all been on this path of ascension for years and years, whether you've been cognizant of it or not, you've been going through it. Your ascension process has been happening for a while now. And the one thing I've noticed is that we do a very good job talking about how to manage our ascension energies, manage our ascension symptoms that come up, right? But the one thing we're not talking about is how to fill in these gaps that are left when you clear, but fill it in with this high vibrational energy. So I think that's part of the missing link. I really do. And the reason why I think it's part of the missing link in what we've been going through is because this one piece of information that I've gotten out of this huge, massive download has been a game changer. Complete and utter game changer. Okay, so these big blocks of energy that are coming into us now, they're actually coming in, these waves are coming in closer than ever before. They used to be months and months apart, and then they began being about 4 weeks apart, and then 3 weeks, 2 weeks, and now we're getting these waves on about a weekly basis. I want to say since the beginning of May, end of April, beginning of May, it's been almost every week and a half to a week that we've been getting these ascension energies, which is good because that's saying we're assimilating this energy quicker, right? We wouldn't be attracting to us this powerful, powerful energy if we weren't in a space to handle it. So that being said, these huge blocks of energy have also gotten bigger. So when the ascension wave comes in, it's bringing with it these blocks of energy that are, they're light codes. They're light coded energy that are stemming from our sun. They're stemming from the universal sun. They're glorious, multi-dimensional, multifaceted blocks of energy. And with these blocks of energy becoming bigger, they are calling us forward into quicker and larger expansion. So we are going to be experiencing these bigger blocks of energy on a couple of different levels. I haven't seen a cardinal. So cardinals are like my little sign from the universe. And I normally, for a while there, I was seeing them like all day. They would follow me when I was driving in my car. They would fly into the tree above me when I would get to work. And I haven't seen one since around the time that I did my last video. And I think that was like 5 days ago. And now one just showed up here. That's just the universe saying, come on, girl, get on your videos. You got a lot of stuff to share. I know, universe, but I'm taking my sweet time. So that was cool. I love signs. They make me so excited. So anyways, these larger blocks of light-coded energy that are coming in, they're just more expansive, and they're causing us to be more expansive. So one of the many revelations I've been having with these larger blocks that are coming in is that you really have to be on top of your vibration and how you are going to bring in this new energy and allow it to shift you, and you decide how you're going to project this back out into the world. And it's a really cool process. And the one thing that I've gotten over this last couple of weeks while I've been taking more time to myself is that we're being very complacent in our spiritual path. We're waiting for answers to come. We're waiting for this video to show up. We're waiting for somebody to give us a piece of information so that we can better make it through this whole ascension process. And when we're doing that, we're still exercising this false premise that the things that we need are coming from outside of us instead of within. And when you're fueling your energy into it, or you're getting frustrated because maybe, you know, the videos are boring on YouTube right now, or maybe they're just not as exciting and you know, forward moving as you would like them to be. Maybe they're not showing up when you want them to show up. Maybe you're going through some things and, you know, just things aren't lining up. You're not getting the answers you want. And what they're saying is it's really time to go within. If you are serious about ushering in fifth dimensional energy, the best way to tell the universe that you're serious is to start utilizing it. And when you're living in the fifth dimension, you're not going to be looking for answers outside of yourself. You're not going to be watching the news. You're not going to be on YouTube looking for other people's channels and, you know, stuff like that. And let me be very clear, because by no means am I saying don't listen to what other people are putting out there. I think it's an amazing thing that we can all come together and use, you know, these videos, my videos, other people's videos, as tools towards this ascension process. So don't think that I'm saying that, because that's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is when you are feeling like you really are looking for something, or you're really searching for something, or you're really wanting answers about something, like, we know enough. It's time to go within. It's time to go within and say, okay, higher self, this is the information that I'm requesting, you know, in which ways can you best deliver this to me? And see what intuitively comes up. You know, you might actually be inspired to go onto YouTube and pick out a video to listen to, and it just might be the answer that you were listening to. And so then you're going within and you're asking for guidance, and they're guiding you towards the easiest path. So just know that I'm not trying to steer anybody away from listening to what other people have out there. But the point I'm trying to get across is, like, you can do this too. You have all of these tools. You're here. You're a part of the ascension. You have all of this within you. And whether you're waking up to it now for the first time, or you've been on this path for 25 years, you have the same access to your inner guidance as I do, and all these other channels out there. The only difference is I practice myself into the vibration of listening to it every day. That's really the only difference. So one of the things that I really learned, and I'm not just saying this for other people, because this is something I'm practicing too. I can't tell you how many times, and I channel, but I can't tell you how many times it'll be like, ooh, the energy is getting really strong. I wonder what other people are getting, you know? And I'll go on and I'll start listening to other people and, you know, seeing if what I'm getting matches up with what other people are getting, or if I'm having an off day and maybe nobody said anything about some high energy, and I can kind of feel it around me and the people around me, and, you know, I'll be like, well, nobody said it was going to be like this, you know? And it's just a really good reminder that you have to go within for your answers. Excuse me, my allergies are going crazy right now. So, yes, going within, very, very important, because it is how we are going to get accustomed to this fifth dimensional part of ourselves. In the fifth dimension, We're not looking for answers outside of ourselves. We're in complete contact. We trust what we're given. And it's not it's not that we need to do these things so we can be perfect on this journey right now. We need to do these things because this is a frequency that we haven't kind of solidified into our being yet. We haven't centered in it. We haven't grounded it. So compared to all of the other vibrations that we practice within our physicality, that one's just not very strong. If you practice something though, even just practicing the thought of it, you're building momentum on a vibration. You're building momentum on a frequency. When you build momentum on something, it gets stronger, and then you can attract it in whatever way it needs to be so that it can manifest. So I think it's really important to begin to, for all of us to begin to a little bit more in all moments of every day, focus inwardly and focus on heightening these vibrations. You know, so many people, especially clients of mine, will say, you know, I want to be connected. I want to figure out how to better contact my higher self or this or that. And what I will advise going forward, because I know differently now, is that it's just a frequency you are not practicing right now. It will get easier the more you practice listening. So there's some really good exercises on communicating with your higher self. And a lot of times the easier exercises come through in ways of writing. Oh, I forgot my water bottle upstairs. So a really good thing to do is to write down the questions that you have, or write down a question that you have. Pause for a minute, take like 5 deep breaths, 6 deep breaths, 7 deep breaths, and then write down whatever first comes to mind. Don't justify it, don't try and change it. Just write what comes, because eventually, and not eventually like really far down the road, but eventually soon, you'll be able to differentiate the information that comes through you as you and the information that comes through as another being. So I think that'll be really helpful, because it's been really helpful for me, extremely helpful for me. I've been practicing and continuing to practice being in more contact with source than anything. So I just kind of go through my day pretending like nothing else exists other than this dialogue that I have between me and source. And it's fun and it's enlivening. And it's actually bringing me a lot more information. So asking source questions throughout my day when things come up, instead of like trying to write it down and think about, okay, well, tonight when I sit down to channel, you know, there's always like some specific time for us to really be a part of our practice of these spiritual practices. And, you know, a fifth dimensional being doesn't wait until they're done with work to practice things. You know, like if you really think about who and what we're going to be in this fifth dimensional realm, I highly doubt we're going to wait until we clock out at 5 o'clock to start practicing and manifesting with these energies. Like, we're going to be doing these things all day long. That's all we are going to do. So doesn't it make sense to start practicing it that way now? It's like we're trying to take these fifth dimensional concepts. This is what I feel like we're doing right now in the spiritual world. We're trying to take these fifth dimensional concepts and we're trying to box them into this very 3D limited field that we're used to working in, because we're used to this reality. And we really have to step outside the box and think of everything as energy, and really begin to think of ourselves as this fifth dimensional being. Like, what does that look like? What does that feel like? who am I in that space? And I think that's going to benefit a lot of us. So I'm probably going to make a video on that, though, where we'll go a lot more in depth on how to really begin to live out this fifth dimensional consciousness, because we're moving into a space right now with all of these ascension energies where it's really not enough to just know what you know. You have to begin to implement it every single day. You can't you can't just be unconditional love when it's easy. You have to be unconditional love all the time, you know? Yeah. I was talking to somebody the other day, and we were talking about disclosure and all of the things that are going on in the government. And, they had mentioned something and said, well, I think the event will come after disclosure or before disclosure. Because then people won't be in fear, and they won't be in fear, and then they won't be scared, or, things won't kind of go into chaos or whatever we were talking about. And it really brought up this idea that I've been going back and forth with my guides. And one of the realizations that have come from that conversation is that part of becoming this fifth dimensional consciousness is being able to see things from broader perspective and still hold a high vibration, still hold a high frequency. So, if these things do come out, some of this stuff does start to unravel itself within the government, especially the deep state stuff that people have been talking about. I think it's even more important for us to work towards our stability and our frequency, because when this stuff does come out, I think it's going to be very real for a lot of people, and it's going to be really easy to kind of tailspin and fall into a little bit more of a victim consciousness because of what's going on. And we really have to hold the light. We have to be aware of what's going on around us, knowing that there's corruption, knowing that the truth can never be hidden, knowing that it's all going to come to the forefront, and choose to hold our space of love no matter what. I think that's part of us deciding to be fifth dimensional beings. It's part of us deciding to be a part of this multifaceted energy, because when you can pull back and see it from source perspective, you really do get a broader view, and you really do get a better understanding of, the things that are happening around us. So, and there's got to be a purpose to all of it. I don't think we would have been able to expand as far as we have if we didn't have a lot of that dark stuff going on. I mean, we live in a duality realm. That's what's here, It's always been dark and light. And now that we're coming to an end, it just all seems a little bit more exacerbated. But I really believe if we keep holding this space of love, we're going to keep manifesting ourselves into these higher and higher timelines. So, there's so much stuff I want to talk about, and now my mind is completely going blank. Let me pull something up real quick. I had taken some, the other night I took some notes. Yes. So the other thing I wanted to talk about, I did a hypnosis session this weekend, which was really cool. And once I can get in and take some notes on that, I'll come back and we'll talk about that a little bit more in depth. But one of the things that was brought forth from my higher self was that the clearing is done. We're moving into a space where we're done clearing. We're done releasing old emotions. We have liberated ourselves from these dense frequencies that have been inside of our bodies and our bones and our organs and all of that. We've released it, which is such a great feeling. And this leads me back to where I was going earlier with all of that. We do a really good job talking about the releasing, and this particular part of the Ascension process where you're releasing old energies and you're releasing your ancestry and you're releasing your genetic coding from your ancestry, and you're releasing your childhood traumas and past relationship traumas, all of it. Karma's releasing. I mean, we have been releasing. And my higher self came in on Saturday and said, okay, well, we're done with that now. And I loved that, because that's something that I had been practicing since the last session I did 2 weeks prior. That's kind of why I took my week and a half to myself, was because I was going through this last little final purge of emotional stuff that was coming up. And it wasn't too intense. It actually was pretty light. But it was definitely needed, because that was probably my biggest realization of all. And that realization was that in the spiritual world, we do a really good job talking about how to release and how to let go and how to clear these blockages. But nobody's really talking about how to fill ourselves back up. We're removing all of this energy. And everything's consciousness. So your awareness is your power. So you can't just tell me that this energy from, all these ascension waves is just going to come in and become for you. Because I don't believe that. I really believe we're being called to take a more active role in this ascension process. And by an active role, I mean when we're done with the clearing, which we are now, how do you choose to bring forth these higher dimensional pieces of yourself? And what does that look like? Are you thinking about that yet? Because if you're not, it's time. It's time, and not only is it best to think about it, but think about it while you're doing other things. You'll ground that energy into your life right now, right? So wake up in the morning and do your processes, do your meditations, do whatever you need to do to feel good, but make sure you're doing it. The most important thing you can do ever is choose first thing in the morning how you are going to decide to be, to project, and to act. Because if you don't choose first thing in the morning, you set yourself up for an entire day of reaction. So make sure you're choosing. You have to be proactive in this energy. We all can't just kind of sit around and wishful thinking about these higher energies or the fifth dimension. We need to be actively summoning it within ourselves. Who are you going to become? That's how you can do this. Who are you going to become now that you know what you know? So part of me filling myself back up after that large clearing that I just did was I have taken control over everything that I allow my subconscious to listen to. We've all had years and years of programming by other people, society, school, the news, Hollywood, everything. We're programmed. We have these thoughts and ideas about who we should be and why we should be this way because of the way society is set up. And I'm choosing to not participate in that anymore. So in the morning, instead of listening to the radio or whatever, I do a lot of affirmations. There's a lot of really great spiritual affirmations that are not all, I am rich. I am grateful. They're way more in depth than that. And they're geared towards higher consciousness, which is so cool. So anyways, I've been listening to those a lot. And then when I'm not listening to those, I'm making sure to be active in my connection with my source, with my guides, whoever. And I encourage all of you to do this too. Even if you're like, I don't channel. You know what? I don't really care. Because here's the deal. The more you do that, the more you're strengthening this frequency that's between you and your higher self. When you can do that, you're going to usher in these new vibrations and these new energies that are going to allow you to hold more light and to understand the information that you're being given. It's not just about channeling. We look at other people and we're like, oh, I can't do that. I can't do that. Yes, you can. You can, and you do. Your body is set up to be in direct communication with source all the time, with creator energy all the time. The only reason why you can't is because you haven't practiced it. That's it. I promise you. So if you just give it a try. Now what I'm saying is I'm not saying, in this dialogue that you're going to automatically just start channeling, because it's not going to be like that. But you'll start to see more synchronicities, and you'll see more signs from the universe saying, yep, exactly what we talked about. Head down this direction. Follow this nudge. Follow this inspiration. That's the beginning of this communication. Do it. Do it, do it, do it. Okay? It's going to be the best thing you ever do for your ascension. I promise you. You have to strengthen the vibration of your connection. And it's not that you have to strengthen it because it's weak. You have to strengthen it because it's not noticeable to you, because there's so many other outside distractions that you just can't hear the subtle communication between you and your God source creator energy. But that's just been a huge revelation for me. It's been huge. It literally changed everything. I feel empowered. I feel in control of my ascension. I feel in control of my manifestations, the things I'm wanting, the things I'm needing. It's just changing everything, you guys. So start practicing that. One of the things, so I've started channeling this new group, and we're just going to call them the 9. So just because it's a collective of 9 beings, and they have a lot of different energy. They're from a lot of different places. So there's Syrian energy, Arcturian energy, Pleiadian energy, ancient beings from here on this earth, like the Egyptians, the Atlanteans, stuff like that. So there's just a lot of energy. So we're just going to call them the 9, and they are the collective that moved in to guide me on this next step. Pretty much just guide me through the rest of this ascension process. So they said that they are my last guides. And once we get through the ascension process, we won't be having guides anymore, because we'll be in full-on communication with all of our star families, all of our earthly families, source. You'll just understand how to communicate in ways that we can't just yet. So that's just not going to be a necessary thing. And for some reason, that's like one of the coolest things you could tell me. Like, it's so exciting to me. Like, oh, I don't need spirit guides anymore. We won't be needing any of our galactic guides, none of it anymore. They'll just be our buddies. They won't be trying to help us and guide us on this path, because we'll understand ourselves and our connection. So, real quick, what they said alongside of mastering how to become the fifth dimensional being, because we've cleared out all the stuff. Now what we have to do is you have to break away from your third dimensional personality and start to integrate this fifth dimensional personality. So the fifth dimensional personality is one who doesn't have to wait until they're done with work to do their spiritual stuff. You know, they'll do their spiritual stuff where they are, because it just is what it is, who they are. You know, it's not like you have to wait for this special time when you meditate. Like if you feel you need a meditation, you take that time and you go do it, you know, whatever that means for you. So we've been taught to go through the ascension process and master the unfolding of the old dense energy, but nobody is really talking about how to become a fifth dimensional being. When you get to the point when you are ready to master the becoming and no longer focused on the releasing, then you will know you have hit the footsteps of the fifth dimension. This is really big stuff. So, yeah, I'm excited. I've started practicing it. I've been practicing it for little over a week now. It's been probably a week and a half now. And I'm telling you, game changer. From here, focus consciously on reaching for new levels of consciousness every day, thinking about what it feels like, what it looks like, what it sounds like, and then reaching for stability in that vibration. This is how you shift yourself into higher dimensions. It's way easier than we've been making it seem. Being a multi-dimensional being is already here. We are only currently manifesting it in the ways of placing our awareness on what we believe the vibration of a dimension to be and bringing it in that way. But as we focus here, we usher in more and more momentum on how to use these energies. And with that, the consciousness will continue to expand so that we can hold more. Knowledge on how to access more of these powers and awarenesses will help us master these otherworldly assets. So, lots of information on, just really reaching into these higher dimensions, feeling what that feels like, because nobody's really telling us what that's going to feel like as we manifest it. So the only way to really get there is to start envisioning it, to start pulling it through the mind's eye, feeling it in your heart center, and asking it to come into physical form that way. So, I feel like I was all over the place today. I'm sorry. I got really excited to put this video up, and just get some of this stuff that I've been working on out here to you guys. So I hope everybody's doing good. I hope you guys have had a beautiful weekend. It's nice and hot here. We need some rain in Texas. So I hope you guys have a beautiful week, and keep working on heightening your vibration. Start trying to go within more. Utilize the things that you know in every moment, and try and really start to think of things as energy and not so physical. Because you know how to manipulate energy. You know from the things that you've been taught that if something is a certain way and you want it to be different, to reach for a higher vibrational output within yourself, and you'll be able to manifest it. Like, we all know these things. So it's time to really kick it into gear and start to think of everything as just being energy and how to change it from there. And same thing with bringing in these newer, higher dimensions. Think about, what you are going to be like then. How are you going to act? How are you going to love? How are you going to treat strangers? If we still have cars, how are you going to drive down the street? Are you going to get frustrated or mad at the guy who pulls in front of you because maybe he's running late or has an emergency? We just don't know. So start feeling for what these different places feel like, and start integrating that version of yourself now. This is how you ground this energy in. Center it into yourself. Pull it into your center. So, yeah. I hope you guys have a great week. We'll be talking soon. Keep smiling, be nice to each other, take care of yourself. Most importantly, take care of yourself. Okay? I love you guys. Talk soon. Bye.